Welcome to the Evolvepreneur podcast channel, which is sponsored by Evolvepreneur.biz, a new online community-based platform designed to help develop your skills and knowledge to be massively successful in this new digital age. Your host today is John North, who is a 3-time #1 international best-selling author and strategic marketer. John's passion is to help business owners to master the online marketing world.
Welcome to Evolvepreneurs. Our current podcast is with J. Bruce Jones, who I've actually been chasing him for quite some time to do this. I think we've been crossing paths, going backwards and forwards, and we finally got to do it. It's a public holiday in Australia at the moment, but I'm glad to do it finally. We've got some sweet time. So J. Bruce Jones is a 30-plus year business graphic designer, author, and product developer. Bruce is an international best-selling author and creator of over 40 books on geography, music, business, children, and colouring. He speaks and consults on publishing, social media, blogging, video, and general marketing. Bruce is a creator of the Facebook group How to Publish a Book with over 1,800 members. He's also developed several software products sold worldwide that are used for business, sales, and educational presentations. Bruce has developed several online training programs for beginning authors with his How to Publish a Book school. Courses include 7 steps of publishing your book, easy journal books, and how to market your book. And you can find his information and activities from brucetheguy.com. at brucetheguy.com.
Oh, cool. Bruce the book guy. Bruce the book guy.
Oh, yeah, I'll fix that. So brucetheguy.com. Yeah. Yeah. It's English is not it should be my first language. So welcome, Bruce. It's really great to see you. I really we dug into sort of pre-chat on what we're going to talk about. And one of the things we're going to talk about is how to develop and create your own product and launch it in 15 minutes. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But at the start, we're going to sort of get a bit of background on how you got to where you got to be and you know what you're doing now, because it's quite an interesting journey, because I think a lot of people haven't cracked the whole author publishing thing. Right. And I think we had a bit of a conversation about people overthink things, right? And I think that's really where your message is very interesting, that you've managed to create so much when most people can barely write one book and you wrote 40.
Right. Well, good. Thank you, John. Thank you for coming in. This is great. I know we've been chasing each other. I took last summer off, and we were supposed to do it then, and it just sort of went all over the place. So,
which is pretty good, though. I think timing's good now because we're doing this as a video podcast as well, and that'll be available, and we have some extra stuff in there. So I think it's probably good timing, because I think because some of your stuff's quite visual, it's great to be able to do it on video. We've done it on audio before, and we have the same effects. That's really cool. So tell me how you got to where you got to be now, because it's an interesting story about you, sort of how you started. And you've done a lot.
I've done pretty much everything you can do in graphic design. So I was a business graphic designer, and I got fired from that corporate career job, and I said I'm never going to go back into that. And so I went into design, and I graduated with an art degree and not a graphic design degree. So I learned my graphic design skills by there was a bookstore in Cambridge, Mass, where I was living, and I would go sit in the graphic design aisle and read the graphic design books. Try to figure out how to do it, and people kind of give you the project that you're ready for. So nobody was giving me an annual report at that stage, and but I just kept plugging away, and I've done something around figuring out about 8,000 projects over the last 30+ years. Wow. And everything from books to corporate to logos, stationery, newsletters, every kind of thing you can do in design. And I currently sort of specialize now in large format graphics for like hospitals and universities. So I'll come in and do large wall installations, windows, either for stress reduction or for tell a story, where somebody will hire me to tell a story. And so it's fun. It's a fun thing. I call it the end of career type projects, because it takes you like 25 years to figure out how to do it. And it just takes a long time.
You can do it quickly, and so you can make money out of it, right?
You can make money out of it, but you're not going to do it in the year 5. You're going to do it in the year 25. So I've done a lot of them, and they're really fun things to do, and I enjoy them. And so I do a lot of that now. And then I have always had a fascination with products, making products. And one of the things I had figured out as being a graphic designer, which is a great skill, and I teach when I talk to students, especially design students, I tell them, the graphic design skill set is perfect for the web environment and for selling products, because you can know how to make PDFs and you know how to assemble, print on demand products, what the file size, all that stuff. But there's I basically follow a model that I have. It's sort of a 2-tier model that there's what you do, your service, whatever your service is. And then while you're doing that, you learn things and you can build products that relate to that.
Yep.
And so you use the knowledge of the products and things you learn from making products, you bring back to your service. And from your service, you can supplement your service. So that has been my model for a long, long time. And basically half the income comes from the design and half the income comes from products. And so if one goes up or down, you have the other, and the two kind of can go along, and you can
a backup plan.
It's a backup plan, and it generates income. And so out of that, I've done the books, I've done software, I've done all kinds of things. It just keeps you interested, and you can bring a lot to the table when you come to a project because you've dealt with marketing and production and advertising and distributors and all that kind of stuff. So that's been kind of the path. There's a graphic design path, wide variety. And then paralleled it since the 1990s, really, when I started making products, a parallel product track that has continued on, and it allows me to have some freedom and supplement income really, quite nicely. So
yeah. So let's talk about your book. So you said you've got like 40 books.
Yep.
That you've written on 5 different subjects, and it's quite interesting how that kind of came about. And it's really the case of people overthink things. Where you've done some books where, there's a book on the in Amazon which calls, what women know about, or what men know about women, and it's a great book, right? And people got hundreds of reviews on it and stuff like that. So I never overthought that book, right?
That's right. So some of it is, and I have books that I have thought way too much, and I usually find that the books you think way too much on and take way too long usually miss their mark and don't do much, and the ones you do quickly tend to do something. And I also I'm really big into series of books. So if you have an idea, Amazon likes series, and then you can cross-promote a series. So that's a really great way of marketing. Right. And then the third thing is I'm huge on repurposing your content in other versions. So this was one of my first books, The Essential Chords for Guitar, Mandolin, Ukulele, and Banjo. And it basically chronicled, which is a great way to write a book, chronicled my learning to play the instrument. So I just, it just has the basic chords for beginners, and it's a nice book. It took a long time to make because it took a long time to learn all those instruments.
I'm gonna say.
But it's been there's always going to be people playing instruments, and it's everything I do is print on demand. I use the CreateSpace platform, so I have no inventory. My job is think them up, make them, market them, and so this is a good example of repurposing. Is that I needed to fill in the back of the book with some blank pages. So I don't know if the viewers can see this or not, but so it's sheet music. I just did some blank sheet music that people can write songs. They can photograph it. I then took the sheet music and I turned it into an entire book of blank sheet music. This book is one of my best-selling books. And in fact,
just do a cover.
It's just the cover, and it's just the cover and 100 blank pages of blank sheet music. And so that became. It has become terrific, and people buy it over and over and over and over because once they like it. So that it becomes a book that if they find a book they like this will hold. People use this will hold about 5 songs worth of book, 5 songs worth per book. So they'll just keep buying the same book. And so that was, and then in the back of every book, I'll show you this. I cross promote all the other books. So that's part of my marketing plan. Is nice. Every book has the other books. I had designed a line of clip art maps, editable maps that are primarily used in PowerPoint for business presentations. So I had drawn all the maps, and I'm just holding up a prop of when I used to sell these on CDs. I don't sell them that way anymore.
CDs.
Good old CDs.
Can't even find a CD player anymore.
I ship these all over the world, every country. I ship them everywhere, along with downloads. But out of that came a line of books, coloring books of maps, because I already owned the maps.
Which is essentially another blank book, essentially.
It's another blank book, and this is another best-selling book that just goes on. And I was looking at my reviews the other day on Amazon, and somebody was commenting about that they had just bought this book for the 6th time.
So because the reality is that it's probably what the secret there is that because it's a consumable, you've not only created a book, you've created a consumable book.
That's right. That's right.
So it's like a journey, like a manuscript book or a journal book. You got to keep buying the book. So
you got to keep buying the book, right?
Yeah.
And
Cool.
Well, if you read the comments, you'll see people, give this away to their grandchildren. That's not uncommon to see that comment that they buy it and they give it to the grandchildren, the color and stuff. So so I guess this guy had 6 grandchildren and he just kept giving them the book.
Keep on breeding.
Keep them going. So but I can use, I have the content. I just rethink about what else can I do with that content, and I can use it.
Up and moving on to the next pretty shiny object.
Right. And I have a book of, the coloring book thing was really big this year. And so, another example of repurposing the content was, I was like, okay, what else can I do with these? I did 4 of these. And I thought, somebody mentioned about traveling and putting them in your pocketbook and for stress and taking them on airplanes, going, well, this is too big to take on an airplane to color. So I just shrunk the whole book down and made a small version, made a travel version.
Right.
And so it's the same. There's nothing different in the book. I just shrunk the pages.
And the important thing to think about there too is that CreateSpace lets you have a wide variety of sizing. So your books you're showing are your traditional size books, but they could be journals, they could be anything. Sizing. And do they do color CreateSpace, or it's only black and white?
No, they do color. Look, here's a children's book I did. And I just did it I created again a series of, and these are images I bought from Shutterstock. And if you're clever about how a lot of stock houses have package deals where they'll give you a month to, you can download a ton of stuff in a month. So what you do is you organize your files. So I had files for dogs, for cats, for horses, for elephants. Gotcha. You spend your time preparing, and then you buy that 1 month and just download like a book. Just go for it. And so instead of spending $20, now I feel so bad for photographers, but there really there's no money left.
But you've got the rights for it, right? You've got the rights to
I have the rights. I can do all kinds of things. That's the same images. Yeah. So you can get your images down into the dollars range, $2. If you do it like that.
And that's the important thing, is to make sure that when you do images, you get the right rights to do it, because a lot of people, we've got clients that do websites and they'll grab an image, they'll get it from somewhere else, and in comes the lawyer's letter to say, hey, you can't use that image.
That's right. That's right. And so if you're clever, if okay, I need to build a library for the next year of images, buy one of the packages, pull together your year's worth of images and just pull it all down at the same time. And so I'll just show one more repurposing. I was in the pre here, we were talking about this book. And one of the things I do in all my books, you'll see my phone number, my address. I try to make myself as open as I possibly can for customers, because your customers are your research division. Yes. And especially with the maps. I mean, when I originally drew my maps, I drew them in Adobe Illustrator thinking they were going to be for graphic designers. And because I'm a graphic designer, and I thought, well, I'm using them and I like maps. And I started getting calls from sales managers going, do you have these in PowerPoint? Because I need to do a map, or I need to do a presentation. And I was like, I don't know. And I figured out how to move them over to PowerPoint. And that became the product. And because I left my phone open, I answered every call that came in, every email. I said, I put my number everywhere. Call me up and tell me what you like or don't like about my product. And so when I was doing, this book was on the market, the Essential Chord book was on the market. I had somebody from Australia called me up and said they were a left-handed guitar player, and left-handed guitar players, they have to flip the guitar around, and they have to try or learn it backwards.
It's awkward.
It's really awkward. So they said, could you flip your book? And I thought, so I looked, and it's in the design. You could flip the graphics. And so I made the left-handed chord for a guitar. So it's an extension. It's just a repurposing of the same content.
You're adding huge value to the left-handed people. You're saying here we go. You got you.
We got you. Yeah. We got you covered. And when I did this book, I asked, I put a note out or somehow in an email list. I said, I'm looking for 5 people to help me review this to make sure it's right. For lefties. And I had 5 people that came in. They were my reviewers, make sure everything was right. Because I was like flipping the guitar around, trying to
be left-handed.
And it was so hard. And so I ended up with another book out of it. And so the books tend to build on themselves. Yeah. And I also try to tell people is, marketing and selling books. I sell, the last couple of years, I sell around 4,300 books a year. You cannot pick what's going to work.
No.
And you just have no idea. It's really a crapshoot.
Yep.
So you need to spread yourself out. Just
Yes.
just see what else you can do. And, I didn't know the books that were bestsellers were ever going to be bestsellers.
Yeah.
And you discovered like, wow, look at that book going.
And in that situation, like, people are doing single books. They're really betting the farm on one book. And that's it.
Right.
They've really put themselves in a box and said, well, if this book doesn't work, I'm doomed.
And they invest a huge amount of time and effort and sometimes money. And it may just be a dud. It just doesn't. Yep. And if you look at any publishing company's stats, they have a couple bestsellers and then they have the backlist. And my curve isn't any different than anybody else's.
Just because you write a book doesn't mean people. It's like if you're going to build it, they're not going to necessarily come.
Right, and then you have to do the marketing. You have to do all the stuff. So it's. I was Publishers Weekly a few years ago published out a list of where what the stats were on publishing companies, and I am in with my 43. I'm in the top 10% of all publishers in the United States.
Wow. I'm
in the same group that Simon and Schuster and Prentice Hall and Random House are in, with my little 4,300 because most books don't. I'm at the top. Yep. And you think, well, how can that be? But I'm.
Because I think the thing is too that like the modern day publisher doesn't understand digital publishing. It seems like it's like I had this whole conversation with my son yesterday about ice makers, because when fridges were invented, refrigeration was actually invented in Australia. Did you know?
No, I didn't know.
No, I didn't know that until I read it. But the theory is that the ice makers, when they used to make ice before refrigeration, when refrigeration came out, the ice makers didn't switch over to refrigeration. They didn't start becoming refrigeration experts. They all just went broke.
Oh.
Right. Now, you can translate that out. Web designers never switched to mobile. Most of them went broke.
Right.
So when you're in the current technology, for whatever bizarre reason, like Kodak, same principle, they were in the printing of photos business. They didn't think digital photos cameras would take off. They had one. They didn't publish it.
Right. They just went down the toilet. I mean, they just went broke. They just went broke.
Blockbuster, Blockbuster was massive, and the other companies, all the online companies now, and are all making a lot of money because they've changed the digital technology. And so what's happening is the same in publishing. I think is the traditional publishers, and when we deal with them, sometimes they're totally alien to it as to what they should be doing because they don't understand the new technology.
Right.
And I think that's what publishing is becoming the same thing. It's so complicated now, yet they just apply the same rules online that they think will work, and they don't.
Well, I think, I have a client who I consult to for publishing, and, one of the enormous things about the self-publishing world is that you get to retain your rights. And but you don't realize what that means. And, I was
a lot.
It means a lot. And the way that I market my books, my primary way that I market my books is I publish most of the book online. Like if you look at my music books, you'll see every page is up online with a good description and a good file name. Yeah. And I can repurpose the content. And then I wrap my own ads around my own content. And I try to tell people to do this. And so this person, was going to go self, and then she switched and found a publisher. And so then she came back to me and said, okay, I'm ready to market. And I said, well, can we take your copy and put it out in podcasts and videos on blogs? She goes, no, I can't do anything with my copy. So she had just hamstrung herself without the main marketing tool. It was just, and I said, well, we could repurpose this content and do different things with it. No, I can't do any of that. I'm like, you can see the look on her face just went, oh, God, no. Right.
Just realize what happened to her. And
just realize what happened to her.
And generally speaking, like some reason publishers will type digital, but they do not do nothing with it. So it ends up being a print version and no digital at all.
Right.
And so, and they apply themselves to it. So, I think people sort of puff up and say, I've got a publisher, I've secured a publisher. And reality is what they've done is it's quite the other way around.
And most, and most publishers these days aren't doing anything anyways. No. And you're still having to do all the marketing. So
They don't
you know,
expect you. They don't expect to do the marketing. They ask you what your platform is, and you say, "What's that mean?" And it's, well, how many social media followers do you got? Because we need to get you to go out there and market your own book.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what they're doing, to be honest with you.
And
What are they doing? They're printing
you
your books.
make
I could do that.
3 to 5 times the royalties that you do on a regular. You know, traditional publisher is 70 cents to $1 royalty. You know, I'm making $2.50 to $3.50 per book.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm making way more money.
And because you've got that graphic design element, I mean, your books are as professional as any other book on the market.
Right.
So it's not like you're sacrificing a self-publishing way to make it look less professional.
Right.
And still as good a quality as you would get.
Yeah. And you have the ability to read, you know, like this illustration that is on the front of my music book has been also, I've turned them into posters.
Yeah.
So, you know, I use print on demand. I'll take let me just show you, a chord chart like this, and I'll blow it up and turn it into a poster. And so, you know, they become practice posters that people can put in their rooms, and those sell. I took the illustrations and turned them into hats, T-shirts, mugs, cups, coffee cups, clocks, you know, through a Cafe Press and Zazzle and places like that. So I'm reusing this content in multiple ways.
So I've got a brilliant idea, but you may already do it. Because one of the things with ClickFunnels is that, and I've noticed with the way that they promote their product, almost every one of them is a free plus shipping offer, right? And so they have a thing called funnel graffiti, which I got the other day, which is stickers that you can build your funnel. So quite cute when you think about it, right? And they're a great ad. But what they do is they go, you can buy a sheet of this, right? And then you get that for free plus shipping. But then when you get to the next page, it upsells you. So would you like 2? Would you like 4? Right? Would you like 20? Right? And then you upsell again, and you say, look, I want something else. So, for example, they might buy the sheet music, and you upsell them into an audio CD or download to give them something, right? And our experience is that 30% of the people take the bump offer. Right? Because we did the same thing, because what we're doing is when I was doing my paperback books for clients, we would give them a hardback book as a present. So we get the hardback printed. And really, it was just to give them a present to make them feel that they got something really substantial, right? What we realized was the hardbacks sold sometimes better than the paperbacks.
Almost all of my books, I'm a physical book guy. Almost everything. My Kindle stuff is very low. You know, I have this book, my book marketing one. My book marketing book, which is my international best-selling book, is the one that actually sells on Kindle. But all my other books are print. Print never really died, and
it took off, really.
It took off. So, it's doing fine. And
so I think that's the thing. And so we'd say basically, when we did a free plus shipping offer, we say, look, you can have the paperback for free, which just pay the shipping, and then we get to the bump offer, and so if you like a hardback for an extra $15, well, you can do that, and 30% of the traffic would just automatically pay extra money. So you've tripled your revenue off the front end of it, right? So I don't know whether you do that kind of concept where you could, with that sheet music, you could easily do like a free plus shipping offer for the first book, and then spin it into, would you like 5 books for that? You know,
I'm scribbling this down. I haven't done it because it's just sort of managing, but
well, ClickFunnels has got a great process for that, because what they do is the 2-step order form allows you to capture their email address and all their details. So where would you like to ship the sheet music? But then the next step is would you like to pay for that, sir? All right, which is the same way you do in a shop, right? You pick the thing up and then you go to the counter and say, would you like to pay for that, sir? They don't front you with the credit card details at the front, right? So what you've done is capture the details of those people that are interested in buying. Now there's an abandon rate in e-shopping, all right? But what's happened is you've captured them. So you've actually captured a database anyway. So regardless of whether they buy anything from you or not, you've now got their email address.
You can still funnel it through.
Absolutely brilliant. And I've done too many solutions that actually allow you to do like that 2-step click form you can do in literally 30 seconds. So to me, and I'm starting to think about this myself, I think if you've got anything physical that you can do or make it in the physical, free plus shipping seems to be the go, because you've now got a physical connection with that customer. Like with your clients, they're physical.
So what I've done for a long time, and on my maps, I sold a CD for a long time. It was very interesting when I added the CD to the collection, the sales went up. I think what it did is it said to people, this is a legitimate, has to be a legitimate company because there's something real. And, you know, the CDs, you know, the individual maps were, you know, at $49.95. The CD is $200. It was $199.95. So for a $2 piece of plastic, I got, you know, $199. Same value, same maps.
It's amazing.
Now I've moved that online, and you know, I recently updated that whole e-commerce, my map stuff, and I've added coupons. I didn't have the ability before to do coupons, and now I have the pop-up thing with coupon, and it's been very interesting. People love coupons, and the other thing that they love is if you ship a product. I've learned a couple things. One is free shipping.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what the product costs. Yep. It's just they get really annoyed at the shipping. So Amazon got rid of shipping, and I got rid of shipping. I just went anywhere in the world. I don't care. When you're shipping a $200 product, there's a lot of profit margin in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can afford to bump your shipping. I mean, in Australia, the biggest problem in Australia is that shipping's very expensive in Australia. It's quite bizarre. Yeah,
it's getting more and more.
Ship an item to us for a few dollars, right? If I ship the same item to you, it's going to cost me $60.
Wow,
$60 to ship a book. I've got to get it there before you die,
right?
Your lifetime. Your lifetime.
So that's what and I have tried, and now that I'm trying to learn more about coupons. I've only had this really since December, and what's the best practices and how to do it. But people love it. People like coupons a lot. And I used to know when I first started selling my maps, I did things in bundles. I found that if you take a product and break it into pieces and then present it as a bundle, you'll get way more sales of that product than you do as an individual. People love to get a deal. And so you just
in a buying mood, they'll buy more. Like that's the way it works. I mean, McDonald's made an extra $1 billion out of chips, didn't they? Like, would you like fries with that? Well, then straight away you build an extra business. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Extra business. So
all right, so we're going to move on to Facebook groups.
Okay.
About your group. So you said to me you had like 1,800 members, and I'm a member of that group. So it's a very highly engaged group.
Right. So my thought was, and a lot of people have a group. A lot of people who are gurus or have a course or something have a group. And what I noticed was that very rarely was the guru in the group. And my thought was, what happens if I was in the group and contributed to the group? Could it grow? And so that was the basic philosophy that I did. And I did it. So I also learned it's not a group about me, even though I'm the guy who runs the group. So it's how to publish your book Facebook group, but pick a group around a topic, a general enough topic that you can kind of move left and right in.
And not yourself in too deep, I suppose.
And don't have it be your name, even though everybody knows who you are. And initially, I generated content by Google Alerts, signing up to blogs, different blogs, subscription sites, news feeds. And I just saw whatever was interesting that I thought would participate in the group. I put it in there to build content. And then the group started to grow. And I also thanked everybody. It's 1,800 people, and I probably have thanked 1,000 of those people. Just thank you for joining the group. And you'd get comments like, "No one does this in a group. Thank you for joining the group." I was like, "Well, and it just grew, and then it has gotten, once it got over 1,000 people, it starts to get its own momentum, and there are conversations that go on, and I celebrate successes. I manage people who aren't participating correctly in the group. I let people promote, but if you're going to promote, I present it as a learning group.
Too brutal on them, because I think a lot of these groups, like I've joined a few groups where, you're not to do that, and they come at you with a Nazi kind of approach, like, we're going to ban you, and I'm going to do this and that. And I think that's a bad idea.
I delete them. If somebody isn't doing what I think they should be doing, if they're sort of spamming, I'll come at people and say, this is a learning group. If you're going to just promote, share. I don't mind if you promote, but if you can teach, almost nobody will do that. And if they kind of don't get the message, then, it's okay, you're gone. Sometimes I'll do it privately to them and go, this is a learning group and I'd love to have you share and contribute, but that's where it is. And then what also happens is people take ownership of a group. And so they start to look out for the group because they like what's going on in the dialogue. And so people will say, hey, this person is, they'll put whatever the notices on Facebook that say, this one's been flagged. So it just kind of grows. And so now come out, part of the goal is to try to move people to my courses if I can. It builds positioning for myself. I reward and really, help people. We have tremendous people who have come in the group with no knowledge at all to start, like, how do I publish a book? And they publish a book. And it's a really cool thing. And it's a really, and then lately what I've been doing is, because of the rise of Facebook Live and things, I've started a TV show, how to publish a book TV show, broadcast to the group. And it's hard to keep them going, but it's just because
it's hard work keeping that up. Yeah.
We're keeping that up this week as I've kind of, but I still just keep trying. And the engagement just keeps getting more and more. And I get more engagement on a show. I'm using Be Live as the platform. And then I matched this with a blog, a publishing blog called BruceTheBookGuy.com. And the two have sort of come at the same time. So sometimes I'll try to funnel people to look at the full article over here. And, and in the show I'll now do, I always have a new book section right at the beginning. People love that. And you need to reward people in the group. And I do it up at the top by pushing people's books in the masthead, the thing at the top. And
a lot of people just leave the same thing there and never change it. Right?
Yeah, and it's hard. Again, it's hard to rotate it, but people really love it when they're in there. And so it's been a really cool thing. And one of the cool things is that you can, what am I going to do if I do a show? Where do I get the content to talk about? I just go back through the past week and just look at the questions that people asked for that week, and I just write them down on a little piece of paper, and I do this. This is a little. I'll show you the little trick I do here. Let me just grab these off the floor. So one of the things I do at the beginning of a show, because when I make sure I do the gorilla way, I hold up my website address.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Right here.
I saw that the other day. I thought that is nice.
Yeah, and it's moving around, and you can go. And because video just runs on Facebook with no sound, you don't know what it is. I do a little title slide that I put up that says, "Here's what the show," right there, what the show's going to be. And I'll also sometimes I'll make like little title slides, and because it just runs. And so that
because they're scrolling back. If they don't see something as interest, they're just a popping head. They might not do.
They don't see anything. It's just a blur. It's just going. But so that it's been fun to do it. And I've done a lot of video, and what I've done a lot of publishing videos and things. And what I have found is that it's a very common path now of people engaged me on YouTube. They followed me there for a while. I make sure all the links are there and the text and everything is there. And then they come over to Facebook group, they engage there, and then maybe they buy a course. So it's a similar path. It's definitely a path that people follow. They see you somewhere here, and then they follow that path.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's like we always talk about with marketing is the customer journey, and if you don't map out the journey at the start, that you understand the journey, then you usually get that wrong. And then that's where things stuff up. So I think, I found a guy that did. I was looking online, looking for some tips about how to do better microphones. I can't remember exactly what I was trying to find, but I found this little video on YouTube. He's quite an engaging guy, and thought it was very interesting. And then he offered some sort of free gear guide or something, right? So I subscribed to his gear guide, and I ended up spending $2,000 on a design, like a business by design course.
Right.
Because he's built that. He's given you something up front that's valuable. He's collected your email address, and then he's taking you on the journey. But you didn't realize you were going on a journey. You started that journey off simply trying to find some information. You weren't.
That's right.
You weren't interested in buying anything.
For my maps, what I did is for a long time I kept track of every email question comment that came in. I did that for quite a while. I just dumped them in a Word file, just copy, paste what my response was, what the question was, and what my response was. Put them in a big Word file, and it was like 200 pages long.
Wow.
I printed it out, cut it up with scissors, and put things in piles.
All right.
And I had about 12
like
piles.
A crime scene thing.
It's like a crime scene thing. And those became my how-to videos.
Right.
And I went and recorded a video on each one of those, and they were all like, how do I color? How do I add text? How do I enlarge? Just basic things, but the same questions. Because I was going, God, I'm asking
the content. You don't know the answer. You know the answers. You don't know the questions, right?
Right. But I'm answering the same questions over and over and over and over. And so once you make a video, I put those on YouTube. Almost every person who calls me over the last 4 or 5 years mentions the videos. It's like, oh, I've seen you on video. Or they'll go, oh, you're the guy that's talking on the video. It's like,
I've seen on TV, right?
Yeah, seen on TV. And, the problem like with Facebook Live and things that it's only on there for that one 10-minute section, or it moves down.
You can't find it again later easily. That's
it's
trouble.
gone.
There's no index.
Yeah, it's gone. And I have videos that have been out there selling for 8 years. I made them 8 years ago. I haven't changed them. They're like 3 PowerPoint versions ago, and I just feel embarrassed. But I just they still keep working.
So don't stop something that's working. Right?
It just keeps going and going. And
so I think the secret there really is that obviously you said at the start was make sure that you engage in your own group and use your group for that purpose of feedback and rather than promotion, right? Because you're not using that group to promote yourself ultimately. You're using that group as a research tool.
That's right. It's a research tool.
Which ultimately becomes a promotion anyway, but
and a platform building tool and a establishing me as the guy that teaches these topics. And and I get a lot of people who come over from other groups that aren't getting the answers they want. We'll let those speak. We'll let that slide away. And I go, ooh, they're running another course again. I see. Okay. But it's a great way to build your own presence, to build a community, to really see what they want. Maybe sell some products into it. But just to get a lot of fun too. It's very rewarding. These people, publishing a book is transformative for people.
Yes.
And you get to see that in your group, in your Facebook group. So I just really encourage people, just make a group and it's an open group. There's open groups, closed groups, and secret groups. It's open group. And just encourage you to participate, answer questions, be involved, and you'll be amazed what will happen out of that group. So
there's a lot of stuff where you say a lot of people come for content to stay for the community.
Yep.
And I think that's what they're looking for. They actually don't necessarily looking just for you to be the guru. They want other people to like them to help them.
Right.
And that's why masterminds and all that sort of things work so well, because other people are giving the breadth of their knowledge depending what level they're at.
Right. And I have people who will make comments that they have, they engaged me somehow a year ago or 2 years ago, and now they finally got their book done, and they're just absolutely thrilled about it. And that wouldn't have been possible without doing that. But you got to sort of seed it. You got to get it going. You got to put a lot of content in to get it going, but then it'll start to kind of grow on its own, snowball.
Okay. Cool. All right. Now, as promised, as advertised. The thing about it in podcasting is I don't think you can fast forward anything, so you got to hang in there and listen.
So. You got to listen. Yeah, I know.
So drum roll. Actually, we should have a guitar roll.
I have the guitar sitting right there. See, it's right there.
Yeah, I saw that in the background.
It's right there. It's right there.
You've got one. We'll have to play out another podcast. All right. Yep. So how to create and launch a product in 15 minutes. So let's. So you got 15 minutes to do it.
Okay. Right. So this is a talk that I have given a number of times, and it's one of the things I try to tell people about making products and selling products is you can make a product and sell something that's $1 and learn everything you need to learn, and then it's really just expanding that. So so what I encourage people to do is to sort of don't start real big, start really small. A single piece of paper can be a product, and you learn all the things you're going to need to learn doing that one piece of paper. So
a massive product.
Then a massive product is just so the easiest thing to make, and you can test. So I do I do make products for a couple of reasons. One is to sell the product, but also you can use it to test a concept. Does anybody care? It's really the question. Does anybody care about this thing I think I want to try to make? And so a really, really simple product that you can, so there's 2 simple products you can really make. One might just be a checklist. My top 10 list on, let's just say fly fishing. I have a group. I'm a publishing guy. Here's my top 10 list. Maybe I sell that list, or it's just a simple list for $1. It's a Word file. It's 1 page long or 2 pages long, 10 great of your best tips, and you sell it for $1. You can use it for lead generating, or just sell it, or just look around your computer. Like you know, say you've written a book. Well, you probably have a PDF file that you use to publish the book with.
Yep.
That's a product. You can use that PDF file and sell the PDF file. So that's already sitting on your computer. You don't even have to make it. You just copy it. So that's sort of where you can kind of get very simple products to get in, you know, top 10 list, expand just a little bit, take a report you already have that you think is interesting, maybe a book you've already written, pick a chapter out of the book or 3 chapters, or maybe you take your book and make a little workbook out of it. It's in PDF, something like that.
So you're splintering, really. You're splintering off something that you already got.
Yeah, you're splintering off something that you already have. So it's not like you're agonizing over what's this product going to be. And your goal is to test and see, does any, you know, before you sort of jump into the whole course on, on fly fishing, does anybody care about my knowledge and see me as an expert on fly fishing? I'm going to give a little tiny thing to just test it. So to do this, I use a site called Gumroad. So gumroad.com is a site, and there's a bunch of these out there. I particularly like Gumroad, and think of it as a electronic bucket. One of the hardest things of doing e-commerce online is the e-commerce part of it. You know, that is the part that you need a webmaster for.
Your time.
It's all your time. It has to do with payment processors and credit cards and delivery and all of this stuff that's like you just don't want to deal with. So you can think of Amazon as their genius is the e-commerce side. You know, they show the product, but they handle all the money part easily. So Gumroad is a site that allows you to upload a PDF, a video file, several PDFs, whatever you can kind of load up into a small a product name. And they take care of all the other stuff. They take care of, your job is sort of make it and market. Their job is to host it, give easy way to buy, collect the money, distribute it, and stream it or distribute it or whatever they're going to do.
If you're selling a product for $1, though, what are you making out of that ultimately? You're making $1.
You're making $1. Well, they take 5%.
Okay.
Plus 25 cents. Okay. So, and they have a lot of really interesting different pricing models. Like they have a pay what you want pricing model, which is just the most fascinating thing to try. I sold, again, repurpose. I took PDF. I surveyed my audience, my book audience. What did they like about this book? And they said, we love the book, but could you sell the PDFs as individual PDFs as opposed to a book full of 100 pages of PDF, 100 pages of maps? They said, it's almost like they didn't know how to change to get to page 60 and print page 60. They just wanted page 60. Which is why I say this. That's the argument about the graphic designers know how to make stuff. Well, people don't know how to always print. They must have to print pages 1 through 60 to get to page 60. They don't want to do that.
Yeah, they don't see the option come up.
So I just took the book and I made 100 PDFs. I just took each page as a PDF. Bundled it.
We're not overthinking again here, are we?
I'm not overthinking. I just went, okay, that's what they told me they want. That's what I'm going to do. And I just put them in a zip file. And I put them on Gumroad at $2, and then you can put a plus after the price, and that says people then can pay whatever they want. $2 is the base.
Wow. Okay.
People paid $2. They paid $5. They paid $10. Some paid $20 for the $2 product. It's like you went to a grocery store and said, "I don't think that those grapes are the right price at $3.95 a pound. I think they're probably $8.95." You can't imagine that you would do this, but
restaurants like that too, are there? You go and you pay what you like at the end of the restaurant for the meal.
And so, and the average price was around $7.50, and eventually I got kind of tired of it, and I just set it at $4.95, and that's been its price. And so they have lots of different things.
All right.
So you basically open up new product. You pick digital product. You can also do subscriptions. And you can do physical. They also have some physical stuff that you can sort of tie in. So you sign the name. You upload your PDF, your videos, your whatever it is you have. You just upload it. Then it goes into you can add a description. So just add a description about your product, and you can kind of format it, bolds, and you can put some tabs and things. You put a picture of the product or a video. So you can put either of those. Pick a price. And at about the speed that I just said this thing, this is how fast it takes to do it. And now you have a product and it's live. And you can start social media right away. They have little Twitter things and Facebook things. You can get a link So you can put a button on your site and just put a link to it. You can also put an embed code to get like a little how to buy button. And if you hit that button, up will pop a sales page. If you don't use that button, it'll just take you to their sales page. It's very simple. Fill out, put your credit card, download.
And you're using the legitimacy of someone else. So it's almost like you're doing a fast Amazon. Exactly.
Right. And people ask, well, do they do any marketing or anything for you? You go, no, that's your job. So you could quickly set
you don't
up.
ask your bank to market you, do you? And then they charge you fees. You're not going to do that, right?
And so you can quickly set up a little store. They also have the world's fastest affiliate program. So I could put up a product. I could put up my book marketing book, and I can give you an affiliate link from 0 to 50% off. You'll get whatever I decide you're going to get. It's up to 50%. Might even be higher, but anyways, it's at least 50. And you can then sell the product, and you get your payment. They pay weekly. I don't know anybody that pays.
People pay weekly ClickFunnels that I ever know. They pay weekly.
They pay weekly.
Yeah.
So, so I have a bunch of products. It's up to about $1,000 a month now. I'm making off of them. That just generates from products, and I have them in different places, and so anywhere you want to. If you have, especially a variety of websites or blogs, you have things. You can just put a little picture of your book, or put a little picture or whatever. Put the link. They also have a relationship with YouTube, so you can put a link right on a video, and you could be like going, "Hey, buy my stuff," and point like this, and then put a little YouTube link with the card thing there, and it's fabulous. It's fabulous. It just works, and so you can, I really try to emphasize to people because of you and I both come out of the product stuff and a whole internet marketing thing of these large video courses and things like that, and this can be, you can sort of put up a variety of products very quickly, and you can then add to them. You can add more videos to them. You can have connection with your customer. They have a free model. I use basically the free model, but for $10 a month, you can go to a pay one and gives you more access to.
So essentially, the secret here is obviously make sure the delivery of the product or whatever you're selling stays within that system.
Right.
And can you then have them not necessarily stay in the system, go out, or the idea is that it all stays inside there?
You mean for people ordering the product?
Say they bought a course or something, and you put some of the course there. Could you take them somewhere else and finish the course, or does it have to stay inside the system?
No. You can do anything you want. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people use it as a like, say you just wanted to run an event, like an Eventbrite. You could do that with some free content. Hey, sign up for John's Evolvepreneur series. And you do that, you get the ticket access, you get a little thing with the link where you're going, and there's some free videos that go along with it. So it has a little limitations, I think. If once you're moving, like I use Gumroad a lot, and I also use Teachable to host products. Once you sort of move past 8-9 videos, and you're making a little more, then move to Teachable. But this,
it's a lead generation concept. To me, that's absolutely brilliant, because sometimes number one, you may not know a product's going to work. I mean, like I use ClickFunnels a lot, and I can build a landing page pretty quickly and pull that infrastructure together. But then when you start taking money, you got to test a lot of other things. Right. And the 3+ shipping offer and all that sort of things might take time, because make sure the back end's working properly, you're getting paid, and they can check out okay, and all those sorts of things got to happen. So this is a lead magnet scenario, like you said, like selling for $1 or whatever is.
$1, $2, they'll take up. As I was preparing, I gave a talk on this topic this week, and you can sell up to a product that's up to $5,000. They'll go more if you call them, but you can go up to $5,000. My average product sale is, I was just looking at it this week, is $23.91 is my average of. I have products that are $29. I have products that are $1. I have ones that are $97. $23.91 is my average price that I average out with the number of customers I have, and so I've been super pleased with it. You can build a product in about 4 minutes.
and I think the thing with all that is, again, you're not overthinking it, right? And the thing is that the reality is, if you say I've got to build a product, at least if nothing else, you've got started quickly.
That's right.
And you tested, as you say, you tested a theory, and if it doesn't work, then great, don't build that product. Right?
I mean, so like, yeah, so you could do, like, here's a way to easily build out a product. You could check a checklist on book marketing. I could put the PDF for the book up. I could then just sit here and record maybe 4 or 5 videos of my favorite chapters out of the book and load those up. And I very quickly have built out a product that I didn't spend any real heavy money on or anything. I just sort of, oh, they like that. Let's add a little more. And they're also, they have a fantastic blog resource center for stuff. But one of the things they talk about a lot is tiered products and that how successful it is. So what they do is they'll go, so my entry level product is maybe a PDF checklist of my favorite things about fly fishing. I'm not a fly fisherman, but it's an easy topic. So it's $1 or it's $5.95 to get the sort of, Bruce's tips on fly fishing. Then you can then, once your products are in Gumroad, you can mix and match them anywhere you want and move them around in other products. So then the next tier would be
upsell. Can you upsell from that?
Well, yeah. What you do then, the next tier is that product and maybe 4 videos for $29.95. Then you build another product of those 2 items for the checklist, the 4 or 5 videos, and maybe there's a consulting package in there of I'll come and give you we'll do a Skype thing or something where, show me how you're casting and I'll kind of fix you for $2.95. And what they say is people can see the value. You can stack these products up on your website. It's all the same stuff basically. And people will buy, just like the wine thing, they'll buy the middle one or the bottom one, but they move
themselves up the scale.
They move themselves up the scale, right?
Wow.
So it just gives you a way of, and you can do that very, very quickly without a lot of thinking. What you're saying is without a lot of thinking.
And if you did have a product, like you could splinter it off and make a smaller product to get that lead in.
To get that staggered thing, right? It's like what can I do to take a product I already have, split it up into a bunch of other pieces, and let's see what I can do with that product. And maybe there's one of the things that happened with my maps, is you have to test and test and test. And when I first released my maps, I sold these as $29.95 for the whole collection. That's it, one-time offer. Well, people couldn't deal with one-time offers because they didn't know there was no end. They were like, "That's it." I mean, I don't renew. They couldn't get their head because everybody else does something. I'm like, something wrong. And then I said, well, it's good for a year, even though I never chased anybody. That helped. And then I doubled the price, and the sales doubled. And then I doubled the price again, and the sales doubled again. And then I finally hit a plateau. But what happened is that my audience went from graphic designers, when I was originally selling the original things, who don't have any money and bounce checks and credit cards all the time, to corporate clients who never bounce a credit card and don't care what the product costs, but can't buy a $29 product. They have
in their psyche. It has to be more. Yes,
it has to be more, and it's all so. You can keep testing your pricing. And I on Gumroad, I tested my map. I took my maps, and I bundled them all into a zip file. I put it up there for what did I put it there? $19.95. I got some sales. So then I did it for a month. I got sales. Then I increased the price to $20.95 because they have coupons with a $10 off coupon with a big thing on the front of the picture said $10 off, right? 2/3 of the people bought it, but 1/3 of the people didn't with the coupon. It's like it's right there in their
missed the coupon.
It's just like they didn't do it, right? I'm like, I just paid the full price. And I'm like, okay. So I just changed the price to $29.95 instead of the hell with it. I'll just do that. And so, you can use coupons to test new price points and things like that to see what happens. Like, just change the price and see what happens. And
don't be scared. I mean, we've got a mobile app platform that, for about $2,500 or whatever, we can build an entire mobile app that would be probably worth $50,000-$60,000 because the reality is you wouldn't build all that functionality. And we were approached by Breville to do their app. And we could play their videos better on our app than they could play on their own website, right? But we were too cheap and they couldn't handle it.
Right.
And so we should have gone in at $25,000, not $2,500.
Right.
So we couldn't make a deal because we were way too cheap. They couldn't get their head around it.
I had somebody, I had law firm clients for a long time until the recession came, and it really killed off that market. And I remember quoting on a big branding project for a law firm, and I think I priced $10,000 for the branding package, and the people that won it for $100,000. And the marketing director, who knew me very well, was a great supporter of me. She said, you should just add another zero on the end of your number. It would have been fine. You just weren't expensive enough.
Yeah. I mean, I did this the other day. Actually, it was quite interesting. I let the customer do the math. So what I said was, well, we charge about $150 an hour. This is probably going to take about 20 hours. And he goes, oh, well, that's going to be X dollars. I go, yeah, that's about right. And so I said, okay. So I didn't tell him the price. I just gave an indication of what would need to be done, how much it was going to cost per hour, and ranged it out a bit. And he just, I got the math. Yeah, that's about $3,000. Okay, that sounds reasonable. Let's do that. Right.
Yeah.
So you never underestimate your customer to do the math for you, right? If they're keen enough, they'll do the math.
They'll do the math, and and they just don't tell them. You just say it's this many hours. And I've done newsletters for years and books by the per page price. I just, instead of trying to come up with what the price is for news, I just go, it was $125 a page. You want to add 4 pages? I don't care. Just, it's just $125 a page, and they can just do the math. And they go, okay, well, it's fine. That's, it's just, they buy the small price, then they'll multiply it out with a big price.
That's right. I mean, $150 is a lot less than $3,000.
Right. So they got to buy that, and then they take the hours and they go, oh, okay, I see where it's coming from. So
yeah, I mean, they sell petrol the same way, right?
No one would come by it if it says, your gas is going to in the car. So
give me 1 liter, 1 gallon, or whatever you guys have. Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's crazy. Yeah, it makes sense.
So that's that's basically how to make a product in 15 minutes. Is so look what you have that you can easily put together really fast. I mean, I love I'll do my top 10. My quickie top 10 thing is I ask people, what is your most asked question? So what's the most asked question that people ask you? And sometimes I have to get them to come down and go, okay, that's great. Now what's the second most question? Okay, now give me 8 more. All right. Okay, there you go. There's your chapters of your book. Give me a sentence for the first, then give me a paragraph for them, then give me 4 or 5 paragraphs for each one in that order. Do it in that way. And there you have your thing, and you can stop on any way in between there, and that works. And then so there you go, and that's it. Or just look in your computer. You'll probably find, especially if you're any corporate person, you have a report, PDF, you have blogs. Just pull the posts off the blog and stick them into a document and go, my favorite blog posts. Here's $2 for that. You're really just testing, and then you may find people actually buy it. And then, then you take a vacation.
And I think the whole theme of this thing is people overthink stuff. Like, I mean, I was watching something on Frank Kern, or it might have been something like that. Anyway, talking about the concept of the fact that these guys were getting upset because of all these spam emails. So they said, oh, you're spamming me, sending too many emails, and they unsubscribe. He said, it's interesting. The same people that were complaining about the emails were prepared to pay him $1,000 for the swipe file of those emails. All right, because he packaged it, made it valuable.
Made value out of it.
They were complaining that they were getting spammed and didn't like it, right? And because the emails were successful, they wanted them, right?
They just turned it around and gave it back to them and go, "Here's your."
It's like that. Yeah, right. It's like, and think about it, that it is a case of overthinking the process a bit too much,
right?
And sometimes thinking that your customer is more educated than they are.
And it's the other one that's been coming out lately
is coming to you for that.
Is people complaining about, and one of the questions that comes up about when you use your content in your own websites to promote your own books is, aren't you worried about why would people buy your book if they can just read it? And I go, well, you're putting it out in small little chunks. They're not going to read it that way. They don't want to read it that way. And also, are you worried about piracy? And there's a lot of new sort of good comments on piracy now, is that book sales actually go up when there's piracy because more people get exposed to your books. And if you do simple things like this, put your cross-promoted books in the back of your book.
Doing a job for you, right?
You're doing the job for you. They're just spreading your content around, and then people come in. They don't always know where they're getting it. They're just getting it, and then they'll go to Amazon to buy the rest of it. So,
when I started in computers and Lotus 123, because back then all the software programs were not copyrighted in terms of you could just copy them, right? You didn't register, didn't do anything because it didn't have sophistication like that,
right?
And people learned that product, and the reality is eventually they bought it, and so it was almost like they did shareware without realizing they did shareware.
Right.
And they grew the product. So I think, people get too precious about their information. And the reality is no one's going to consume it unless they've got a desire to do so, usually by charging them lots of money.
Right. Well, I have a brother-in-law who works for a software company, and his job is to go around the country giving away software to college labs. It's an engineering software.
Right.
And he gives away hundreds of millions of dollars of software for free because the students learn to use the software, and then they go and get the job, and they're like, well, where's the software that I've been using for the last 4 years? Yeah. Like, this is what I know. So then they go and buy it.
Yeah, they'll change it when they get a job. Yeah,
right.
They get a job. They'll change. Same with accounting software. We had the same principle when it's to sell accounting software. One of the major guys managed to get into schools and gave all the software away free. I talked to my vendor about it, and go, no, I've got to charge for that. I'm going, well, the incumbent is giving it away for free. And you know why? It's because they're an incumbent. Right? If you want to become the standard, start giving it away for free.
Right.
Really cheap. All right. And I think that's
look at Google Chrome, the Chromebooks. It used to be Apple who was giving away all those. Now in every school in the United States, it's Chromebooks. You're like, they just lock these people into the Google way, and I give them for free. So
it's a giveaway, like it's a lost leader at the end of the day, and that's all you're really doing.
But that's the thing about making products. So it's not hard. You just start doing it, and Gumroad is a great.
I'm going to get off this podcast and go do one now. But I got 15 minutes, right?
That's right. You just make a little thumbnail. Like all blogs, you can put thumbnails down the side. You just put a link. You can just go and some and you can mix and match your thumbnails. Some might go to Amazon. Some might go to Gumroad. You just never know, and see which ones. Make them all look the same, but put different links on them and see which one works. So it's just different ways to test it. So
cool. Well, we got through a lot. I don't. We'll see what happens in post edit here.
That's right. Cut this down or make it into 2 or whatever you want to do.
We just make it big of ourselves and make it long. Who cares? All
right. Right.
Yeah, that's brilliant. We should have probably done 3 podcast interviews.
It's I'm glad we connected because we, as people who are listening to this, John and I are both in the same world. We've just been circling around. We all know the same people, and we do a lot of the same stuff. And it's just been it's like, I know we just started talking as if we knew each other forever, but
exactly,
we only just
met. None of my virtual friends, right? But it's like we pass in the hallway, but we never know who we are.
That's right.
That's cool. All right, thank you so much. What you gave was great information, and I think if you took one thing of what you said, and any of those things were value bombs in terms of what they can do, and I learned a lot too. So, which is always good. If I'm going to take the time and effort, I want to learn stuff, right?
That's right. I know. It's like, oh, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that one. I got to write that down because it's
like
I wrote a new product idea on the back of this while you were doing about the sheet metal, the sheet music notes. I'm going, oh, magnetic notes on a thing. You could compose things on your refrigerator. That would be kind of cool.
No, it's the graffiti's funny. I don't know whether you saw the video on their graffiti site, but I'll send you the link.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen it.
The video is hilarious, right? It was shot in his house and stuff like that, but it's hilarious because it shows you someone trying to do this a different way, right? And it's all hard, right? He's trying to make it with noodles, and he's trying to. It's all sorts of things, right? Yeah, you might have seen it.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, he's trying to make it with noodles. He's trying to draw it with his wife's lipstick on the bathroom mirror.
That's right. Yes, I have seen that. Yes, I have. I have seen that. Yes.
And then he shows the graffiti, and they move the stickers around. I've done that. I've got them on my whiteboard, and what I actually did is I actually took photos of them, and I've made them into a software where I can actually just grab and drop the photos into my page, so I can actually draw them. I can't draw. Career as an artist, or I can't draw. So basically, just dropping them, creating my own funnel, but in an electronic way, right? It's like my electronic whiteboard.
That's right. I just move the pieces and stuff.
So I think I'll start a Kickstarter campaign where basically we create a product where we actually create a software version of the same thing,
That's right. So, cool. So, thank you. And if people want to know more about me, you can come over to Facebook and search on How to Publish Your Book Facebook group, and So that's cool. And then and BruceTheBookGuy.com for my publishing stuff. And I have a million other zillion websites, but that's the best place to kind of
As you
get
do.
to me.
As you do as an entrepreneur. I reckon it should be domain anonymous groups.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Oh, so
Thank you very much, and I really appreciate your time.
cool. Thank you, John.
You've just been listening to another great Evolvepreneur podcast interview. We hope you enjoyed it. Please visit evolvepreneur.biz today to find out more about our online community and how you can take part.